Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be explaining the story and the layout and everything about the top 10 coasters in the world. Well, before we start, you may be wondering what parameters I have for what the top 10 coasters in the world are, and for that I'm using the website Captain Coaster and their top 10 most highly rated coasters. For those of you who don't know, Captain Coaster is a website where you can basically just rank any coaster and just give it a review. And their top coaster list is based on like a Rotten Tomatoes like system where it's the percentage of positive reviews. So it does leave a few more like specific rides like that maybe not everybody likes, like I-305 if you don't like intensity, like that's not on the top 10. And it has like a definite RMC bias, but it generally gives a solid idea of what people think the best coasters in the world are. The final thing is that all footage in this video is either from the park, the manufacturer, or is copyright free, and in that third case, I'll be shouting out all the creators of the original footage. Well, without further ado, let's take a look at the top 10 coasters in the world. Kicking off our list is Fury 325 at Carowinds. Fury 325 is one of the only two coasters on this list that I can actually talk from my own personal experience on how it is, and spoiler alert, it's pretty good. The ride itself was opened in 2015 and has pretty much consistently won Golden Ticket Best Steel Coaster almost every year since its opening. The ride is mainly praised due to its fast speed, good layout, and particularly its treble clef element, which gives a lot of G's while going up and then a nice pop of sideways airtime at the top. Just speaking from personal experience, when this ride first opened, I remember hearing a lot about how this is the best coaster in the world, and just for reference, despite only opening in 2015, this is the second oldest ride on the entire list. Fury 325 is one of undeniably the most just pure fun coasters, and honestly one of the most influential modern coasters of our time. And I'm honestly surprised it's not actually higher, based on just how generally appealing this is, but with a score of 99.3, this finishes at number 10. Next up at number 9 is Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland de Pana. I'm sorry if I completely messed up that pronunciation. Ride to Happiness is one of only two Mach Extreme spinners to open, besides Time Traveler, but the reason this makes the list and Time Traveler does not is this ride is a lot more crazy just overall. It has a faster launch, it has more inversions, and I mean, there's a reason I'm showing off-ride footage provided by All Clear rather than a POV because you can't see much on a POV. Contrasting Fury 325, this ride is the second newest ride on this list, opening in July of 2021. The ride features two total launches, one at the beginning and one in the middle, and 5 total inversions, including the iconic banana roll. The ride is most praised for its out-of-control feeling and its mix of inversions with a lot of intense spinning. Even despite this coaster's newer opening date, seemingly narrow appeal, and the fact that it's located in Belgium, it still comes in at number 9 on this list with, again, a score of 99.3. For me personally, Taiga at Lenny Maki, somewhere in Finland, was the most surprising coaster to see on this list. Coming in at number 8, it's an Intamin LSM launch coaster with a top speed of 66 miles per hour and 4 inversions, with 2 launches. Going into this, I didn't know all that much about this ride, and after looking at some reviews, the most common praises I'm seeing are its great intensity, solid ejector airtime, and great blitz-like transitions, along with some solid launches and inversions. It was opened in 2019, and it's just a solid, overall, good ride that everyone can get behind, which is why it has a 99.4 rating, which is good for number 8. Coming in at number 7 on this list is Ijinika at Fuji-Q Highland. So, you know what I was saying a few minutes ago about Ride to Happiness being an insane, out of control ride that spins around? Yeah, just take what I said about that and it can translate to this, except instead of spinning in a circle right side up, this spins you upside down. The ride is quite similar to X2 at Six Flags Magic Mountain, except it's infinitely better because it wasn't made by Arrow. In all seriousness, though, this ride takes what X2 did well and cranks that up even more, while also providing a much smoother ride experience. Yet again, I'm not using a POV for this ride because that would be absolutely disorienting, but this off-ride footage is credit to El Toro Ryan. Overall, despite being far and away the oldest coaster on this list, opening all the way back in 2006, Ijinika still holds up today and is somehow almost 30 spots higher than Dynaconda, which is pretty much the same ride, but whatever. This ride deservedly gets a spot in the top 10, with the score of 99.4. Coming in at number 6 on this list is Lightning Rod. Uh, Footage courtesy of Crazy Coaster. Lightning Rod is a stupid coaster that is always closed and I hate it. In all seriousness though, Lightning Rod is an RMC topper track coaster that was opened in 2016 and was the first wooden coaster with a launch. It's renowned for its exceptional airtime throughout, most notably its iconic quadruple down, which has a lot more than 4 airtime hills, so I don't really know what's going on there. Despite all of this positive stuff, I'm actually a bit surprised this ride even makes the list, as I've heard as of recent it's gotten a bit rough, but I guess it's still one of the best coasters in existence. I guess not that I wrote it, but it has a 99.4, so even if it is running rougher, still pretty good. Coming in at number 5 is the next of many RMCs on this list, Hakuge at Nagashima Spotland. It was opened in 2019 and it is considered the highest rated coaster in Japan. It features 3 inversions, all of which are 0G stalls, and it maxes out at a height of 180 feet. While this ride may be the lowest of the 4 big RMCs, you'll see the other 3 a bit later, don't be mistaken, this ride is obviously still really amazing. I mean, it's an RMC and look at this footage. It's a huge RMC. It's over 5,000 feet of track, and it more than deserves its 99.6 rating at the number 5 spot. Coming in at number 4 is Zodra at Energylandia. Zodra is an RMC iBox track coaster and was the first iBox track coaster to be built from the ground up. The ride was built in 2019 and is the second of the big 4 RMCs and the third RMC in a row on this list. The ride features 3 inversions, a 0G stall under the lift similar to Goliath at Six Flags Great America, and 2 0G rolls. And of course, like every other RMC, it features some great moments of airtime and is a solid overall intense ride. Literally, just take exactly what I just said about Hakuge, put it in Poland, and that's pretty much this ride. With the exact same score of a 99.6, it comes in at number 4. Oh yeah, also credit to Coaster Hipster for this footage. Coming in at number 3 on this list is the only non-RMC coaster in the top 6, Velocicoaster at Universal Studios Islands of Adventure. The ride was opened in June of 2021, and overall Velocicoaster is most similar to Taiga on this list, as it's another relatively low to the ground, inversion-oriented LSM launch Intamin. Where this ride gains the advantage is in the great theming and landscaping around the coaster, and its better airtime, most notably the top hat, which I've heard gives some great ejector in the back row. And of course, who could forget the iconic Mosasaurus roll over the water? But there also are 3 other inversions, including an Immelman, a dive loop, and a 0G stall. Overall, I mean, come on, it's Velocicoaster. Everyone has heard of this ride. Everybody knows how great this ride is. And it's not at all surprising that with a score of 99.7, this ride comes in at number 3. Number 2 on this list also happens to be the newest coaster on this list, and it's Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa, opening in early 2022. After being delayed 2 years, the ride finally opened and has received great reviews since it's come out. It's currently the tallest, fastest, steepest, and overall just biggest RMC out there, beating out Zodra and Steel Vengeance by like 1 in every category, but still. Its most well-known element is the death roll, which is like one of those barrel roll drops on something like Twisted Timbers, except now you have speed going into it. But, of course, the death roll isn't the only thing this ride's known for, as it has all the great RMC stuff you can have, like other great inversions, like a zero-G stall, and plenty of great airtime moments. Overall, I mean, it's just another giant RMC that's near the top of this list. And, I hope you like giant RMCs that are near the top of the list, because the next one's not going to be too different. Credit to MNL2 Contriver. I mean, come on, what else was it going to be? Of course, Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point comes in at number 1 on this list. This was the first of the big 4 RMCs opening in 2018. This ride is the only other one besides Fury that I can actually attest to how good it is, and I mean, obviously, it's number 1 on my list. Pretty much everything about this ride is just great. From the first 2 main airtime hills being the 2 single strongest moments of airtime on pretty much any coaster out there, to some of the great inversions under the structure in the second half, this ride just is great from beginning to end. Pretty much the only reasons I've seen for this not being number 1 on people's list is just people wanting to be counter and saying that it's not the best coaster. But if you look at it objectively, this is the number 1 coaster with a perfect 100% score. What can I say? It's Steel Vengeance. It's number 1. Everyone knows it's number 1. And it'll probably be number 1 for a while, unless RMC or Intamin does something absolutely crazy in the next few years. Oh yeah, just because why not? Before this video is over, I'd like to name number 20 to number 11, which I really should have done before the video started. But, 20 is Wicked Cyclone, 19 is Intimidator 305, 18 is Twisted Colossus, 17 is Wildfire, 16 is Conda, 15 is T-Express, 14 is Twisted Timbers, 13 is Maverick, 12 is Del Toro, and 11 is Untamed. Thank you so much for watching this video. I had a great time making it. I hope you had a great time watching it. And I'd like to make more just like longer form videos like this where I just talk about a bunch of coasters. I just find it enjoyable. So yeah, if you made it this far, then you should subscribe and like the video. Yeah. Also, Wildcat's Revenge is going to be number 1.